Alright guys, this is the video that will show you how to do your foundation detail. Now in order to do the foundation detail, you have to have pretty much everything on your foundation complete. And what I mean by that is you need to make sure that your foundation is of the correct specifications. 8-inch concrete slab, and then of course with the thickened edge, we'll go over here to the 3D view, take a look. Okay, and you can see that I have the thickened edge on only the major portions of my slab, not on the patios and things of that nature. Okay. And of course, go in here, take a look at this. This is the detail, which I'll show you how to actually do this. You need to make sure that your floor, your slab itself, okay, make sure that that is structured as an 8-inch slab. If you have a finished material on top of it, such as hardwood or something like that, that's good. But just make sure it is 8-inch concrete, and then of course you have this thickened edge. So let's go back to level 1, show you how I did that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, what we want to do at level 1 is we want to right click and we want to duplicate view, and just click duplicate, and you want to rename this new view that you have. And let's see, there's the rename button, and you're just going to name it foundation plan. I'm going to name mine foundation plan 2 because I've already got a regular foundation plan that I did when I was showing you how to do this in class. Okay, so foundation plan 2, but name yours foundation plan. All right, now that I'm in the foundation plan, I want to turn on discipline, not the discipline, but the view. Here it is, discipline architectural. I want to change that to structural. And I want to come in here and I want to click on visibility graphics, and I'm going to turn off all the stuff that is still there that I don't need in my structural view. In this case, if you have columns, you'll want to turn those off. Anything else you have other than the concrete slab itself, you'll probably want to turn that off. So I want to turn off my doors and windows. Apply. Okay. And now I'm left with just a slab. And actually I also see my work planes too, but that's okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a section right through here. You want to draw it right through where one of your thickened edges are. So the sectional tool is right up here in the quick access toolbar. And we bring it down and just find a section to draw it through, just like that. Okay, now it's important that this section is named appropriately, because what's going to happen later on is when you finish your plan, you're going to have like an index at the beginning of your set of plans. It's going to tell you everything about what designs are on what page. So you need to make sure that you name these appropriately. If you look down here and you see, like, I've got my original foundation detail, I'll also have a section 1 and a section 2. So which one do I want to change? Well, if I just click on that to activate it like it is now, I should see, but I don't, where the name would be grayed out, or it'd be look kind of like a gray highlight. All right, so I need to do something else. I'm going to go into the view. So now I'm into that sectional view, and now it's bold. Okay, if I look over here, it's bold. It may have been grayed out before, I just couldn't see it. But I want to rename that. Again, this one will be named Foundation Detail. Okay, and you have to do some hiding in here as well. Depending on how much there is, you could probably just do like a simple hide. You want to bring this down because you don't don't want all that stuff, windows and things on there. You do, however, need your walls. So we're going to go back to where it says discipline, structural, and we're going to change that to architectural. So now I can see my walls. And I'm also in the thick lined view. So I am going to come up here in the quick access toolbar and click on this little, it's like little 3 lines, one on top of the other. Click on that to go to my thin line view so I can see what, kind of tell what I'm doing. Then I'm going to go to the bottom in the status bar, and I'm going to click on this first box. It says detail level. Currently it is coarse. I want to make it fine. Now I can see more of my wall structure. I'm going to change my scale also to 1.5. Okay. And then I can get busy on detailing this thing. Now, of course, remember, this is kind of a non-BIM, BIM, which stands for Building Information Modeling. This is the non-BIM way to annotate and create your foundation detail. So, I need to draw my sill plate down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go to the detail line. And I've got the line tool, and I'm just going to, find the bottom and then move up 1.5 inches because that is the thickness of that 2x4 sill plate. And then draw the X in there to represent the cut piece of wood. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is actually draw the anchor bolt. So I'm still in line tool, which is good. I want to mark the extent of my J-bolt. Now this J-bolt, it has to be at least 7 inches deep. Some people will put them deeper. Some it'll vary. It may be, deeper on some parts and not as deep on other parts, but just, 7 inches. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to start at this point and just kind of pull my mouse down till I find about 7 inches. Click, and then I'm going to drag across. That line is just used as a marker. Okay, so I'm going to draw another detail line, and I'm going to get, kind of off center from my, of my sill plate, and I'm going to come up about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I'm going to draw down to that line. That's part of my J-bolt or my anchor bolt, whichever you choose to call it. I'm also going to go to the modify panel if I'm not already in there, and I'm going to click the offset tool. I'm going to offset this line the thickness of the actual J-bolt, which is 1/2 inch. And up in the status bar or the options bar, you can change that right here. By default, it'll say 1 foot. And you don't want 1 foot there. You want 1/2 inch. All right, so change that to 1/2 inch for the offset, and then offset that J-bolt line. Hit the escape button, and now you're ready to draw the actual J portion down at the bottom. So again, detail lines, and then choose, I always use this one, the start end radius arc. Click either one of the lines to start making your radius, and just kind of bring it out to the side, doesn't matter how far, and then shape. Now you're going to offset this one as well. So if you're not on the modify panel, go ahead and go to the modify panel, click on the offset tool. It should still be set for 1/2 inch, which you had on there earlier, and then offset it to the inside. And now this marker line you really don't need anymore, so you can just take it and draw it or drag it to here. And when you get this warning about can't keep elements joined, just click on unjoin elements. And then kind of finish off the line. And that kind of closes that loop right there. All right, I also want to select all of my J-bolt, and I want to use the arrow keys on my keyboard. Just kind of bump it till it gets into the center. All right, now I'm going to use a line to close the top up here again. And next thing I'm going to draw is the washer. The J-bolts, they have to have a washer on them. So find the center. I find the center of the J-bolt. If you find the center of the what do you call it down here, the sill plate, it may not actually line up, but you can always fix it as you go along. So the washer is going to be about 1.5 inches. Well, let's say about 1.25 inches. All right, and then you're going to take it up about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to type 1/8 inch. And you can draw it to the center, and for some reason I lost that part of my line. And now if you want, you can mirror it, or you can just draw it. If you can eyeball it, I just kind of like mine to be even on both sides. So I'm going to use the mirror tool and just select both of those lines and then enter. And then I'm going to draw down the center of the bolt until I get my other half of the washer on the other side. Next, I'm going to put the nut on top of the washer. And it's really not important. You just want to indicate that there is a nut there. It doesn't have to be to the specifications of the nut. And the same with the washer. You just want to know that the washer is there. But typically you want to kind of get it close to the right size. Okay, so the nut, again, I'm going to, let's see, where am I going? Annotate, detail line. And I'm just going to kind of come out to the left here. It doesn't matter where. Just pick a spot and just draw up, about 3/4 of an inch would probably be good. I think that's sufficient. And you could either, draw it over to the side, and eyeball it to where you're supposed to stop. Or you can draw it to the center so that you can mirror it and it'll be equal on both sides. And here we go. Now it's time to kind of clean it up a little bit. And I'm going to use the split element tool. And I'm just going to split both those lines right in here. Now I can make corners, or I could do one of several things. Let's make corners. So I'm going to make a corner here. And that kind of cleans up that line, but it did delete that other line, which I didn't want it to do. So we'll have to go back and replace those lines. Or actually, I'm just going to stretch it. Okay. And I want to give the bolt here, or the nut, a kind of an octagonal appearance. So I'm just going to kind of draw some odd lines, not really lined up with anything particular. Okay, something like that. Oops, and I see another line that I didn't mean to delete. Well, that didn't work. All right, I'm just going to stretch it. Okay, so now we got a J-bolt. I can't think of anything else we need to do for that. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is start working on the rebar that goes into the slab portion right up here. So again, I'm just going to use those lines. I'm going to set it for a medium line. Actually, it looks like I've been using medium line. Of course, you can tell you really can't see it right now. You have to click on this thick and thin line button, and then you can see the lines. And of course, I really should have drawn these with a little bit thinner lines, but oh well, it all works. All right, so I'm going to draw the rebar. Now, this rebar has a 2-inch cover, which means it is 2 inches from the surface of the rebar. Of the concrete. So I might just draw a line down over here until I get to 2 inches. Okay, draw it just to the other side of the J-bolt, and then angle it downwards and bring it to about there. No specific distance. Okay, this one I'm going to place 2 inches from the bottom. And this is our bottom major. And I'm going to draw it through till it kind of comes out to about there. Now what I want to do is fillet this corner. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my thick line so we can start to see what I'm doing. But I'm going to fillet this little corner right there. And I'm going to do that in Modify. No, actually, I'm not going to do that in Modify. I got to go to Annotate and select Detail Lines again to get back in that tool. And here's the Fillet Arc tool. There's no specific radius to this arc. And I just click on both adjacent lines and create the arc. Alright, and next thing I'm going to do is create some dots to represent our minor direction of the rebar. And I'm going to use Filled Region. I'm going to choose the Circle tool. And I want to come right in here in this corner and create that first circle. And I probably should create, I guess, a 1/4 of an inch would be good. Let me see. Yeah, I think 1/4 of an inch is good. We can see that pretty good. Okay. And now what we want to do is create an array with that black dot. So I'm going to go up to the top, go to right here in the Modify panel. There's the Array tool, which it looks like a little checkerboard. Click on that, and I'm just going to leave this the information inside of the options bar listed just like it is. Okay, and I am going to click on this dot, and I'm going to bring it exactly 1 foot out. There it is. And I'm going to change the number to the number of dots that I want to duplicate. And I'll change that number right here. It's inside this little box. Okay, it's asking me how many I want. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, about 6 would be good. Okay, so now I've got 6 dots going across there representing my minor direction. I want to take those same dots. I'm going to click on this first dot again, then I'm going to right click and select all instances visible in view. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to just click on anywhere inside those dots and move it down to the next layer. Okay, and now I have to create the bends that will represent the bends on the minor direction of the top rebar. And I'm going to do that with a detail line, and really I'm just going to find the center of the rebar, just draw straight down. Now that one right there, of course, is basically drawing over the top of another line. Here I can find the center, and I want to bring it down about the same distance as this one over here, so it'll actually give you a dashed line telling you when you are at that distance. And this too, you could actually copy or array if you wanted to. All right, so now that gets all of our rebar in the slab, at least. I can't think of anything else to add to that. And now we're just going to copy one of these dots and put our rebar down here, and we want it about 2 inches from the bottom. Did I click on that? There we go. About 2 inches from the bottom. And you'll probably want to go back and measure that, and then of course you could take the other one out to the side and click that one here. Okay, we're about 3 inches from the bottom, so I could actually bump both of those down about 1 inch, about right in there. Okay, so now we have that the rebar that's inside of our thickened edge. Now what I want to do is I want to annotate it. So I'm going to go to the A tool, or actually the text tool, but you know it because it's a big A. Choose the 2 segment line and just kind of start annotating everything, making sure that you line your text up appropriately. And this is going to be anchor bolt, and I'm going to put some information about this anchor bolt. It is 1/2 inch, comma, 1/2 inch diameter. D period is the abbreviation for that, and then 7-inch embedment. And there's one other thing, and you want to do @ symbol, 6 feet, which tells us that we want it every 6 feet along the perimeter of the slab. We want those anchor bolts. The next annotation will be the actual rebar. And let's see, there we go. Okay, and this is a number 4 rebar, number 4, and then we'll use @ symbol, 1 foot, which means basically it's like a netting, and the netting pieces are 1 foot square. And we put E period W period E period F period, which stands for each way, each face. Make sure you remember that. Each way, each face. Just like I had you remember BIM for Building Information Management, or modeling, sorry. Building Information Modeling. Okay. And let's see, now we want to annotate, what else? Our slab. Okay, and this is 8-inch concrete slab. And then of course we want to annotate this as our 24-inch by 12-inch thickened edge. And I don't know, I never did click, so that's why it didn't type. 24-inch by 12-inch. Okay, and make sure that when you're annotating on this that this is a little different than hand-drawn annotations, but make sure that you're capitalizing the first letter of each word. And that's the way I do it. A lot of people do it that way as well, and also make sure that your spelling is correct. And the last thing I need to annotate is this rebar and the thickened edge. Okay, and it's just number 4 is all I wanted to put in there. Okay, now I want to make sure that everything looks nice and neat. I've already got these aligned really well, so I am going to stretch this out a little bit, and this is my biggest word, so I'm going to use this one for our biggest term. Use that for my alignment, and as you drag it, it'll snap when it gets aligned. This one's not working so well. There we go. Okay, so that looks nice, neat, and professional. Thing is, I know I forgot something. I just can't think of what it is right now. But that'll do it. That will be your slab detail, or your foundation detail. Next video, I'm going to show you how to do the slab, which is really easy. Okay.